Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Welcome to our Christmas edition. Only because it's close to Christmas time.
I forgot my Santa hat. I was going to break out the Santa hat this morning, and I completely forgot.
Yeah, I went to find one, and I couldn't find one. So,
I've got three or four, but I forgot to get them.
Maybe I need to get one today.
Oh, well, Steve, there's some new people in chat.
Boy, we got.
Why don't you tell us who's here?
Well, let me bring it up. My tablet's kind of going wiggy on me. Give me a second.
While you're looking.
Okay, we got Pappy. Good morning, Pappy. John, Schuylkill River Valley. Rob T-Man, John, Grandpa Rails, John Tanzillo. We got Allie. Good morning, Allie. Hi, Kyle Stevens, Gerald Stewart, Dave Todd, my buddy railroader. We got to get together and talk about a show that we want you on to help me. And Corey, I wonder what Corey that is, because we got to. Corey, is that who I think you are? Put it in there. We got John Dawson. Good morning, Mike. Deep Run Railroad. We got Mark Pruitt, my buddy Bernard. And did I say Kyle Stevenson? Bernard. Okay, let's see. Who did I miss? I know I missed somebody.
Evo.
I thought I said. Oh, we got Stephen at Wigwag. I got to hook up with you. Okay. Anyway, if I missed anybody, sorry. Welcome to the show. And I didn't know it was 7 o'clock because we've been busy BSing about all kinds of stuff.
The green room was lively.
Oh, very lively.
Oh, okay. Well, the first question I wanted to ask everybody on the panel here and people in chat: how many of you set up a train around the tree?
No.
Set up what?
A train around your Christmas tree.
I did once for 3 years.
We did for a few years when the kids were little, but don't do any more. The wife's not a big fan, so.
Years ago, I had a G scale under a tree, and then I also had like a little N scale passenger train in the tree. But I haven't done that for like 10, 15 years.
Yeah. One year I had G scale, Lionel, and HO running around it. Ooh.
Nice. Wow, there you go. Yeah. We used to go to
an in-scale dog bone so in my family room, I've got like 3 windows that run on the west side of the house and 3 windows that run on the south side of the house. And I built a dog bone so that the tree fit right in the corner of that corner of the room, and then the dog bone went around it for Christmas. It stayed there for 3 years, and the tree came and went, but the layout stayed.
Oh, there you go. We used to go to a tea party, and the guy that was throwing it had this huge long den. It was a ranch-style house. Had a sunken fireplace pit on one end of it. And he had a pool table in there and a wet bar, and had this huge Christmas tree. Not real tall, but real wide. And he had his old Lionel stuff out for it. And you talk about walking into a Hallmark card, that was it. And the kids, of course, he was one of these kind of guys, let the kids play. He didn't care if they messed with the train, did anything with it. Of course, you couldn't hardly tear them up anyway, so he'd let them go with it. But that was a lot of fun to see. They said, watch kids play with the train.
I never did, but maybe next year I will. Do a little end scale, get some Cowboy track, do around the track. Happy birthday, Pappy. Pappy's birthday today.
Oh,
Pappy's birthday today. Oh, Pappy, thank you for the Christmas card too, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I forgot to tell you about. Yes, thank you.
Geez, I don't have their addresses. How did you get their addresses, Pappy?
There's an insider club.
He says Teresa Smalley needs Z-scale. Well, you don't need Z-scale. You can do a big train around a small tree.
Yeah.
I mean, I got trees on my layout. I may have to decorate it next Christmas. I'll decorate one of them for a run by. But yeah,
I meant to look on mini prints and see if he had a manger scene. Does he have a manger scene?
Maybe.
Does anyone
I don't know
know?
if he's got a manger scene. He's probably got some way of making one, you know.
Because that I thought about, you know, all of the, you know, Christmas trains that I've seen and stuff like that, and I thought that would be, you know, could I put a manger scene on a flat car? That might be kind of cool.
So Dwight Curley just did a Christmas train challenge for Drew Steele, and he printed up some manger scene and put it on a flat car. You can watch this video.
So Curley has
a
manger scene that he's printed in scale, or is it
HO?
HO. I was thinking in scale on an HO flat car is what I was thinking. A narrow gauge flat car. I don't know if it would fit or not.
But in scale probably would.
Yeah, in scale.
I like Corey's comment. He said he built a Christmas display layout for his nephews a few years ago, went outside for a smoke and came back in and they demo derbied it.
Yeah.
I made one for my nephew and niece. Oh God, it's been 30 years ago. I made them a small one, I don't know, 2x2 with Christmas scene and stuff. And they had it under the tree for 2 or 3 years. I don't know whatever happened to it, but it probably got demoed too.
Dennis, if you're really serious about it, you probably get one from Shapeways.
Yeah, probably could. Somebody out there.
Does Shapeways print and also
they print? Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Shapeways was just a download site that you could print it yourself.
No. They print and you can send them stuff too. John 2618 used to send them files that he would design something in CAD, and then he would send it to Shapeways and have Shapeways print it for him. Gerald Stewart says mini prints he doesn't think has a manger scene, but you could always, you know, you got a year. You could say, hey Bernard, do a mini.
I thought about reaching out to him because to me that would be a great challenge.
I think it would be good for everybody.
Yeah.
O scale, N scale, HL. Yeah, it's a good idea.
Trade Filmer wants to know if anybody ever had a Christmas live stream where you have everything decorated for Christmas. Trains and Christmas lights. There was a guy, and my memory is so horrible anymore, and I can't remember his channel, but he used to do it with he'd have like gnomes and stuff on his layout, and he did all the holidays, and he'd almost make up little cartoons, like stop motion type cartoons with his trains and all.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
I don't remember the guy's name.
Drew Steele does, but
his was a lot of fun.
Christmas
I love his channel. Yeah,
not a Christmas Day specific live stream or anything like that, but he does train. I don't know. Sparky does Christmas Day live, but I don't know anybody that does any.
Bernard's getting a nice Christmas present. He's getting brass ABBs showing up today.
Really?
Tell us more.
Yes, tell us more. I got dogs making me crazy over here.
I'm getting a Christmas present today too.
My dogs drive me crazy.
The channel that
pick it up after work
that Claude is thinking about. I don't remember what the channel used to be called, but it is now called the Bible Train. He changed the name and he kind of changed the whole scope of what his channel was to definitely a more religious Christian kind of channel. But I can't remember what the channel used to be, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. I always remember, especially as Christmas, during Christmas time, he always had a good setup, and I loved watching his. In fact, I think I even sent a link to it to my pastor one year, and it's been 3 or 4 years ago. But I liked it so much, I thought my pastor would like it, so I sent him the deal, because he had younger kids at the time. I thought they might like seeing it.
Oh, you know what you're talking about? You're talking about Rick.
No, I don't remember his name.
No, not you. Rick. I just went to look at the Bible train, and
Is
it's
that his name, Rick? It could have been.
Rick does the gnomes. Is that who you're talking about, Dennis?
Yeah. Yeah, the guy that did it had the gnomes.
Yeah, that's Rick. He still has a channel, but it's another. Yeah, he changed the channel. I'll look for it because he subscribes to me and he comes in the live streams. It's Rick. He's from Arizona. Got a beard. Always really does like crazy cool stuff in his videos.
Yeah. And I guess when he changed the channel, I lost contact of him.
Yeah, so I didn't know he had this channel, the Bible Train, but he doesn't have no new videos there.
Well, I guarantee that, because I don't ever recall subscribing to the Bible Train, whatever the channel name used to be, he just changed. Like you can go in like.
Oh yeah,
my original name for this channel was not Otter Creek and Rio Grande. I can't remember what it was. It was like
mine too. So.
Denver, something like that. So I can't recall what it used to be, but it's been probably 2 years ago, maybe.
Yeah,
year and a half.
Well, anyway, his were I always made sure I saw his for Christmas because his were always really good. And I'm sure there's been other people. I've seen some. I think Drew Steele's one of them I've seen that's done stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Extremely creative and very free with how he interfaces everything with the layout. His is one of my favorite channels. Yeah.
Hey, Pappy, is this the guy we were talking about? So his channel's Old Camp Ranch?
Yeah.
I'm not that one.
That's him.
That's him. Okay, I'll look it up after the show.
Thanks, Pappy.
Doesn't sound right to me either. But.
No, he changed his name. It used to be something else. He changed his name. And I think this is a whole different new channel. Because one day he came into one of my live streams and I was like, I don't really know you. And then I clicked on, as I always click on the channel just to see, and then I'm like, gnomes? Who does gnomes? Nobody. Yeah. So I think Old Camp Ranch is a new channel for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't recall the name of that channel. Yeah.
It's the same guy, Rick. Hi, this is Rick, and welcome to my channel. And he does the gnomes. I don't know nobody that does gnomes and trains and so yeah, it's him. It's Old Camp Ranch. Yep.
Okay, I'll have to look him up.
Yeah.
So anybody doing anything special for Christmas, around Christmas, or getting anything special?
Eating.
Hoping the phone doesn't ring.
Yeah, I hear you there, Dennis.
I'm on call for the next 4 days, so
I never get anything hobby related because the wife never knows what to get me.
Well, see, that's easy though. What you need to do is like what we do is just, and we've done it for years. It's like, how much money do you want to spend? 200. Okay, you buy what you want for yourself, and it's for me. Simple, easy, and it's done.
Well, see, she knows I'm going to do that anyway.
Yeah.
My only rule is, the only rule I have on mine is I can't do it before Christmas. That's a strict one right there. Don't everybody think
we don't
a month or two before Christmas.
Yeah, we don't have that kind of a rule. Like occasionally I'll do the, like a caboose stop hobby or another hobby shop spending spree, bring it home. It's like, here, you have given me this for Christmas. Wrap it and put it under the tree.
And she's going, thank you. She didn't have to go shop.
It's easy. You get what you want.
You could do the same, Claude.
Oh, yeah.
The
I
last
did
couple of
last
years, my wife has asked me what I wanted, and I've given her a list of certain items to choose from within a specific price range. This year, she didn't even ask. So I might get a lump of coal. I don't know.
Well, you can bust.
She gave me her list, and
I
completed her list. I don't think she's watching this morning, but
well, hey, let's
she should know what she's getting.
We got
coal. You busted
You
up.
get a
the
list?
Scale coal for one of your mines.
Yeah, she
We got-
sent me a list.
Why don't you send her a list?
Go ahead, Steve.
we got Evo Van, how I'm saying
Evo.
it.
Evo. Yeah.
Evo. Well, welcome to the show. You're from, I think I looked at you were from the Netherlands area, Dutch, but another one from across the pond. He says he's going to eat too much, then complain about gaining weight.
Yeah.
And might do a few
Corey.
videos showcasing some smaller trains. Well, I look forward to seeing that. But anyway, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to the show. Well, I did give her one item.
Back on tracks, getting a bigger international footprint.
Man,
It's always good. 369 subscribers.
Yeah,
Maybe
on at least 3 continents.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I did give my wife something to buy me last year, and she got me the topside creeper, so I can get up on the upper deck.
That's a great gift, right?
Money well spent.
Yeah.
So that was
mine several
I've only
times
used it a little bit so far, but when I get the upper deck up on this part, I'll be using it quite a bit more. And it's a real challenge in the space that I have too. Dennis knows what I'm talking about because I don't have a lot of room, aisle space in my layout, but it does work. It makes it a lot easier to do all that work up there.
Bernard says he's to take his plane up and check out some rams on the mountain. Bernard, you got to get your plane done so you can fly into Grants Pass and we can hook up and you can take me for a ride. I would love that.
There you go.
It's not too late, Dennis. Hurry up and give her a list.
Not too late.
I figure I'm getting what I get. I have no idea. We decided I don't even think we're going to wrap our presents. I think we decided we would wrap one.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow night, I think we're going to give each other, here's the box that says Amazon on it, you know.
That's all right?
Yeah, because Amazon puts it in something before they send it to you, so that's good enough.
Amazon will even
wrap
wrap
it. They do
it.
have a gift wrap option, but
Yeah.
I didn't.
They'll wrap it for you.
I can't remember if I did.
I'm just talking about the bag
that I did.
I know, but they'll wrap it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll put it in a little bag and hide it anyway. It'll look decent under the tree if you get it from Amazon wrapped.
John 2618, what's up, buddy?
Hey, John.
We're taking this plane to Bernard's Airport next month. Hey, take pictures, John. We want to see pictures.
Yeah.
Now, are we talking like a 1-to-1 airplane, or is this a model airplane?
No, it's 1-to-1.
Okay.
John flies a plane. You know John 2618. He's a pilot.
Yeah, but I'm not familiar with specifics.
Well, and the other thing I want to ask, John, is that your airplane or is that your boss's airplane? Are you going to be flying in there?
I think if I understand, John told us once that we would know who he flies for, but he can't say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would know because you see
He's a private pilot.
Private.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I'm wanting to know
Probably
if
has
that's his airplane or the boss's airplane.
Boss's
The
airplane.
boss's, okay.
Yeah, actually, I got a question for you, John.
Millions of dollars.
You fly for somebody, but I'm sure you've got a personal aircraft. What kind do you have that you fly on your own?
Yeah, tell everybody, John, your personal aircraft.
Because I know you fly for somebody we would know, but you've got to have a really cool plane for yourself.
And interesting that he's flying into Elko, Nevada, because there's not a lot in Elko, Nevada.
No.
Maybe he's going to the casino, taking his boss to the casino.
Well, there's somebody here in
Anyway,
Grand Pass that, because I watched the flight tracker radar, and there's a private jet that flies frequently between the Grants Pass Airport and Southern California area. and it goes, oh, when it takes off, it goes over my house. So somebody's got some money because they commute back and forth from LA to here. So sure you do something like that you're a pilot for somebody really neat. Let's see, John, he said, then they're going skiing. They're going skiing there, and then they're going to drop and go to Salt Lake City to go in hangar. Okay. Interesting.
Okay, that makes sense.
Where's Bernard's airport? What's Bernard's airport?
I don't know. He's out in the middle of nowhere.
Bernard lives in Elko. Well, he lives just east of Elko, a little ways. I don't know if he's actually in the city limits or not, but he's right there at Elko, Nevada.
Uh-oh. Steve Anderson's in chat. What are you up to, Steve-O?
Hey, Steve. What's up, Curly, Dwight Curly?
So in the meantime, Bill, I know you were doing something this week.
How's Jerry?
Just a little. Yeah, I can show you. The Jerry's coming over this afternoon. We're going to put some of his like building footprints down on the layout just to kind of take a look. So not really a lot, but I did get the cork road bed installed, and I'm putting the track down, and I've got a bunch of feeders dropped. Let's see if we could actually, I don't know if we can see underneath, but you know, get it set where I've got blue tape is where I'm going to have basically the blocks set. So he wants, I think it's like 7 electrical blocks on this. So we'll put that in. I do have a gap there where I screwed up one of the switches. I don't have a replacement, so I ordered one that I'll eat because I broke it. And then I can get the rest of the track set. And when he's here this afternoon, I'll talk to him about how he wants to set up his electrical panel. And then probably it'll be about three weeks. I'll get started on doing some of the finish work for here with the electrical. And then we'll be able to take it to his place and then start doing scenery and other things at his home when it's set up in position. But I'm doing work travel here for a couple of weeks, so I won't be in the country and I won't be able to get much done. So I'm hoping this afternoon I'll be able to get more of this done. He's going to bring the cutouts or the bases for the buildings, set it on the track plan as it sits so he can see what he needs to do to kind of build. And then from there, I'll be able to wrap up my part in the garage fairly quickly. And then once we get it to his house, then we'll start working on scenery and different things. I will paint the track before it leaves my shop so that we can do the ballast and stuff at his place later. But it's coming along. It's a fun little project still.
Bill, what's going on with that unoccupied court?
All right, here?
Yeah.
That's where we up a switch. So I broke the switch that goes there, and I've got another Payco switch on order.
Switch.
Yeah, and then there's the flex track that goes in that section up to that switch. So once I get that, I pulled my electrical tape off. Once I get that, then I'll be able to finish it up. Right now, I've got everything put in place with just the little pins. I'm going to go and I'm going to get a very thin putty knife so that I can use some of the construction adhesive, put on the putty knife. I'll lift up just sections of track, put it in, or even like a butter knife. Just spread a little bit of that construction adhesive under the track. Doesn't have to go everywhere. Press it down and then kind of work my way around the layout so that everything gets glued in place. Doesn't have to be a lot, and I don't have to do every inch of the track because once you come back in and put the ballast in and then you put the dilute white glue down, nothing's going to move anyway. So, you know, I can get by with less material, but still everything's going to be solid so that this, when it's done, it'll be able to be flipped up on end and nothing's going to come off. Not a bit of scenery is going to move off of this thing once we're all done. So that's what I've been up to this week.
That's pretty cool.
Coming along.
Should be fun, yeah.
I would like somebody to do a video talking about blocks how to do blocks and why you do blocks. I know nothing about them.
I was kind of thinking the same thing, Jerry, which I kind of have an idea of how it would work, but I really have I've only ever had DCC. My very first interface with model railroad was with DCC in the early 1990s. Might have been mid 1990s. I can't remember, but DCC was fairly new at the time.
Steve, for you, because that's what his is.
Mine is all DC with two cabs and all blocks. That's all mine.
But how do you get the blocks themselves? Do you toggle power on back and forth? Like does the power come from the cab to another switch that you then turn off and on, or toggle? Do you then toggle the polarity as well?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I don't know how I would explain it, but mine is old. This is all secondhand stuff, and I've got a very high-tech control panel, as you can see. But you basically got a power strip that runs. Okay, this is all positive, and then you've got the negative. You've got double throw pull switches that you've got power to the switch, and then these are track feeders to the. Okay, you got. How does this work? See, I don't even remember. But anyway,
so do you always keep the cab polarity the same, and then you switch the polarity within the blocks with a different switch, or do you also switch the polarity at the cab?
I do it at you can switch the polarity back and forth on the cab, but on the toggle switches, center is off, and if I click it to the right, then this block, like you were commenting on my real high-tech control.
No, I think it looks good.
But no, each one is a block. So this toggle, well, let's say, how would I do this? This section of track here would be this section on the panel. So if I go center, it's off. If I go to the right, it runs this power supply. If I go to the left, it runs this one. So that's how I can run. If it would run properly, which it doesn't, I could run two trains and move them all around this layout, using the toggles to does that make sense? But unfortunately, this whole mess up on the top, and I don't have do I have a pointer? I've got a pointer.
Well, everyone should have
your direction's still done by the cab.
Yeah. But
by your direction switch on your cab.
This section all down here is all up, and you can't really see it, but it's all up here. I built those are all turnouts that I built in place. In one they were all hand-built turnouts. So everything was all glued, and I had one up here by the bridge that the whole thing broke. This crossover right down here. And I've got to pull this whole section out here and basically rebuild this crossover. And I really don't want to do it right now. It's just too much work. But in theory, I'm going to have to cut this whole section out down here. That's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hand-built turnouts up there that are all connected. And that's going to be a monumental task. But yeah, this is all very old school DCC, and I would recommend that anybody that does that in the future, mark your wires.
Oh yeah, great advice.
Can you not use this block technology in DCC?
I don't see why not.
You
could, but I'm not sure what the advantages would be. I mean, we do different blocks in DCC to make sure that we're not using too much power at one time is kind of the best way I can describe that.
And the other reason you'd use it for signaling.
Yeah, I'm not talking about
DC blocks are for electrical power to the locomotive.
Dumb power.
Yeah. So like using blocks on a DCC layout, a really good application that you could use it for is like in an engine terminal, so that you can kill power to a lot of the tracks around.
Oh yeah, that are
so your engines are not all making noise at the same time.
Yeah.
It's more for a sanity check in that kind of a thing. If you've got sound equipped locos and everything's making noise, plus it saves power. You can kill the power and just let them sit. That's one application for blocks.
Yeah, that's what I've got here. Like right now, my third staging track is the only track that's turned on, so I've only got one locomotive back here steaming.
Right.
Yeah, I've done the same thing.
Four other tracks at the other end. That's all. What Claude was saying is that you have isolated blocks. They're for signaling and or track detection, but it really has nothing to do with the power. It has to do with just making sure they're isolated so you know which train is where, but it has nothing. I'm using one controller for everything I've got right now, but I've got
when you're talking about
separated the blocks just for so that if I have a short here, it doesn't affect either of my other two locations.
Well, what's funny is Jack, he said he's laughing because he says Steve used colored wire. Jack, if you want to have a good time and laugh, go back on my channel way back to when I started this thing, and you'll figure out why there's no colored wire.
So Cameron says, did you see what Cameron says? Caboose 121. He said blocks in DCC. Highlight it, please, Claude.
Heath is asking me a question, and I guess my answer to that is I didn't want to overcomplicate things. This was real simple to me. Real simple.
I think he's Claude. Did you freeze?
No.
You're so still.
Who'd you want to put up there?
Sorry, Caboose 121. He says DC blocks in DCC.
No. Okay.
Also lets only part of the layout shut down if you have a short.
That's your.
I have three
short
or four circuit breakers right now. I'm getting ready to add a fifth for what's going to go up here, which is actually out in the workshop right now.
But DC power runs completely different than DCC.
Right.
You're controlling the speed through how much power you put into the track.
Right.
DCC, you have a constant voltage going through the track,
except
for what's getting drawn by locomotives. And the speed is done by the decoder in the locomotive. Right. So you can run two trains in the same block together. You can DC too, but it doesn't work very well.
No.
Gotcha.
I know you can do it, but you can't speed match them. You can't do any of that stuff in DC. And so you have separate electrical blocks so that you can run this train and one behind it and a block behind it. Now, as this first train leaves the block, you switch it to the other cab so that the other cab can then come through. Mm-hmm. Okay, because they're working off two different power packs. Whereas in DCC, everything's working off the same power system. And that's why DCC is so much easier to do, more costly because you got to have the decoders, but that's the basic difference. Then you can do signaling if you want, block detection if you want, any of that stuff, and you can do that on either one of them.
Yeah, DC, you need miles of wire, absolute miles. And it's kind of funny because, where did I go back? Bernard says, gee, Steve, you lost me at once upon a time. He also says he's impressed. Bernard, you impress very easily. And I did build hand build turnouts. I built How many did I build, Claude? I built 1,
I don't know.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I built 12 on here. And yeah, I do have built turnouts. I just haven't done it in a while because I haven't had the time.
Steve's
Yeah,
wiring
so it'd
is
be great if
best described as
somebody.
electrical hell.
It would be great if
Throw
somebody.
that one up there from Daniel Banks.
It would be great if somebody explained that whole block thing in layman terms, easy terms, not technical. Make it
Go
easy.
find. Oops. I keep doing that. Okay.
You're right.
Jerry. Go find. And I don't have one. I got rid of mine years ago. But Calling Back Publishing put out a thing called HO Primer, and it was a basic starting guide for people that bought a train set and wanted to make a layout.
Yeah.
And it describes it very, very clearly in that.
Hey, welcome.
You can probably find a copy on eBay.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still have it, if it's still being published or not.
I think
You
it
might
is.
go find it at a hobby shop if they got one around you.
I'm
We
sure.
got Eric watch now. Hello, Eric. How's it up in Canada? And he just Eric just put out a video that something I think was to the effect that you can DCC any locomotive. He's been putting DCC in everything. So go watch Eric's channel. Put a link up to Watch Trains Now, Dennis or Claude.
I will. I got it.
See.
That's a Watch Trains Now link.
Oh, there you go.
Because I learned everything I learned about taking apart N-scale locomotives, I learned from Eric.
Yeah.
Everything from
He's pretty good. And his videos are very good too.
But just have to remember the difference between DC and DCC is pretty good. I mean, it's a completely different way of wiring the layout.
Yeah.
Oh, my dad. I mean, he would have been in hog heaven. He was very old school. That's how I learned DC. And
would your dad like DCC?
What's that?
Would your dad like DCC?
Oh man, that would have been his dream.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember being back when I first got in it in junior high and high school. I remember people talking about something like that. They were, but it was stuff they were building themselves to do what DCC does now.
Yeah.
But it was not available to anybody.
Oh, model railroad back in the 60s and early 70s. That would have been a model railroader's dream was DCC.
Oh yeah.
That was
that's one of the reasons I got back into it because of the DCC part of it.
Yeah,
me too.
That makes it much more fun, I think, to do than a.
You can literally operate
DC
like a
layout.
real railroad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me, it was just a sound reason.
Well,
I didn't know nothing about wiring and nothing like that, but it was the sound. The sound was my reason to do a layout.
Yeah.
but I don't know with the sound in my for like N scale. What's the point? It just sounds like noise.
No, I don't think so.
But
I think
it's better than that. It's better than that.
I think my N scale Atlas engines sound really good. Sound has come a long way, I think.
Well, engines, yes. Steam engines on N scale still, for sound. I've got one that's a really engine that I use for my passenger train, but it sounds like Thomas the Tank Engine when I toot the horn.
I'll tell you.
Well, see, I've got 2 or 3 of the BLI in N scale, and I didn't have an issue with how they sounded. Now, the HO sound considerably better.
Yeah, just because they're bigger. I mean, but there's other stuff like John 2618. He could tell you, he could change speakers out in N scale that like blow the original speakers away. I mean, there's so much out there. It's like you don't have to settle for crappy sound.
Yeah, Dave says he swore he'd never go back to would never go DCC, but now would not go back to DC. Yeah, because it's that
I
much.
think it's a game. It's a game changer. That
Even if you don't do sound locomotives, it's still much better way of going. It's so much more realistic running than you can do on a regular DC layout.
Well, see, I would have to start totally over with, and I don't want to go there.
Well, you really wouldn't, Steve.
Yeah.
What you do is just cut all your drops, cut them off, and you'd be wiring them together. You just wire them to your main bus line.
Yeah.
It would not be as hard as you think. I mean, it still would not be fun to do because you've got a lot of it there, but your layout's not all that large that you couldn't do it.
And it's kind of fun anyway. It's a challenge.
Oh, definitely.
Yep.
I remember building that 4x12 double figure 8, and I remember how much wiring was in it. And I was not very good at wiring back then, for sure. So to get away from trying to solder and stuff, I was using rail joiner drops and all that kind of stuff. And those really are not the best way to wire a layout, but in my opinion. But
rail joiner drops.
Yep. Have you seen the rail joiners with the
where the wire's already pre-soldered to the rail joiner?
Yeah, like what?
Or somebody else.
Yeah, that's what Bill showed that on one of your.
Bill,
I've got one on my new upper level on the cold trestle. I thought, hey, that's where I need to wire that. When I hook that together, then it'll power that one short section. Yeah, but I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that on all the track.
I've done it multiple ways. Like on the HO scale switching, I soldered my feeders directly to the bottom of each rail in where I dropped them. And it really hides it. You got to be careful if you're soldering. Like for N scale, I think probably wiring directly to the rail joiners is the easiest in N scale to get your feeders. Just kind of depends upon what your track is and how you want to do it. But soldering to the rail joiners, if you're making your own, you can save a lot of money. And it's so easy to do rather than trying to buy a little pack of like 4 rail joiners for $3, $3.25.
Yeah, pre-made.
I set up a jig just to do that when I was building my in-scale layout. Just a little chunk of wood, a place to put the rail joiner upside down, and
did you do a video on that?
Did
you do a video? Did you do a video on it?
No. Back when I did my in-scale stuff, I was not even considering YouTube.
Well,
I didn't consider YouTube until I started building this building because I just wanted to document everything for whatever reason.
You need to break it back out and do a quick video on it.
Here's a jig.
I don't even think I have it anymore.
Well, make another one.
So there's a jig that you can make for your N scale. So that's just a piece of N scale rail bent in a 90, and all you do is you slide the rail, get to the camera, slide the rail joiner on the end here, flip it over.
Something to hold on to.
Yeah, and I just sand the back of the rail joiner lightly to rough it up, and then just a little bit of flux, a little bit of solder to tin it, and then the same with the wire, and boom, you've got a connection, and it takes 30 seconds to make a rail joiner at a power feed.
What type of wire, Bill, what type of wire do you like to use for that?
So what I'm using on the N scale layout build is wire that Jerry provided. So I don't know if it's like 18 gauge. This is like from Radio Shack, stuff that he had from years ago. So this is solid wire, not wound or spun.
If you were doing it for yourself, what would you pick over, stranded or solid?
I would do solid for the feeders. Simply, stranded, there's nothing wrong with it. But to do a feeder, if you're only working with one wire, for me, that's easier. And I can bend it. I can get it into the shape I want. Even
so, it's
it's all subjective. What works for best for each individual.
Yes, it would.
I would only use stranded if it was extremely important that the wire needs to be flexible. Otherwise, I prefer solid everywhere because I can bend it to the shape I want
Yeah.
and create nice, neat wiring.
Yeah.
You know, that.
And if you're going into a screw
personally.
terminal, it holds much better in a screw terminal than
Yes.
if you're going to use.
You don't have to add solder to the end of it. I just prefer it.
Yeah,
Claude,
you
you're
want to solder the end of it.
Claude, yeah.
laying down again, Claude.
Yep, you're sideways.
There's nothing to see.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, I use 20 gauge on all my drops, mainly because I had a big roll of doorbell wire, and it's 20 gauge solid wire, red and white wire. It worked really good. You can form it. I solder mine to the side of the rail. I don't try to get underneath it. I don't try to do the joints, because if you do that, then you have to have your hole exactly where that is when you lay the track down. I lay the track down, I come back and I can put my drop holes anywhere I want. And I guarantee you, once I paint it and ballast it, you'll never see them.
Yeah,
I mean, you can see them if you really
unless you look really hard, you'd have to look for them. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to see it.
mine soldered on the side.
Yeah, and it works. You get a better solder joint because you can make it fairly long. Most of mine are probably 3/16 to a 1/4 inch long, soldered to the side of the rail. So I get a good connection there. And then, like I say, once I spray paint it and then put ballast on it, you won't even know they're there.
Well, yeah, and it also solders the joint too.
Yeah, I solder all my joints. Yeah.
I do.
But I'm in a controlled environment. If I was in an environment where the temperature changed a lot, I probably wouldn't do most of them. I'd do some of them maybe, but not all of them, because you need that expansion contraction. But since I'm in a controlled environment with mine, I don't have to worry about that.
So just for reference, I put Old Camp's link in here so that you guys can go find them easy.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah. No, you're welcome.
Yeah, because I will definitely go check it out after the show.
Yeah, he just did a couple of videos. So.
Jason's here. Hey, Jason. He uses 14 gauge speaker wire.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm looking through chat. Yeah, I'm looking through chat, and everybody's got their preferred methods.
Oh yeah.
I think I use 22 for my drops.
It's good to know.
But yeah. I consider, I don't know if other people do this, but I consider the rail itself as part of the bus. And so I base where my drops are in conjunction with how far the rail, like some people make a point to solder every joint, every 3 foot on every joint. I don't do that.
Right.
I only put a feeder drop, because if you're also doing block detection, you have to make sure every one of those feeder drops is part of your wiring connection to your block detection system. So in my opinion, the fewer you have, the better, because it makes the wiring a little bit easier. But I've always considered the length of my track as part of the bus, and your different size wire can carry up to certain distances as needed. And that's what I do. So, you know, like if I'm going to use the 22 gauge for a feeder drop, I will only go as far as the recommended distance with that wire to the next connection.
Now, all of my LED lights and stuff, all that stuff, it's all very small wire. It's all like 28 gauge, something like that. Now, the feeder wire that goes to that's going to be bigger, but you don't need a lot of power through those. I mean, you got to put resistors on them anyway if they don't come with them. And then my turnouts on my tortoises, I use 24 gauge. Most of that, the gauge sizes came from wire I already had, like the 20 gauge bell wire. I had a 500 foot roll of that, so that's what I started with. And I just bought another 100 foot for this upper deck part. But I used what I had because that was the most economical, and it sufficed for what I needed. It was big enough to carry the load, which I wanted, but I still put in enough drops everywhere. Probably overdid it, but you know, while you're doing it, might as well overdo it as to be under and have to go back.
Yeah.
But it's, most people, that's why they have the gauge they've got. Most guys didn't go say, oh, well, I want this gauge to do that job. Most of them said, what do I got in the chest here? And that's what they start with, and then they kind of stay with that. That's pretty much
what size is your bus, Claude?
My bus is 14 gauge.
Your main bus.
14 gauge solid wire.
See, mine's 12.
Yeah.
I went with 12.
Mine's 14 gauge, but I don't run very far either direction. I only go 12 feet each way. So there's not a lot.
20.
You don't need the extra size to carry it. But, and I won't be running, 10 trains at one time either. I'll be running 2, maybe 3 if somebody else is over here, with me. But if I'm by myself, I won't be running more than 2 trains probably at any given time, just because my brain can't handle it.
I find it difficult to run 2 trains by yourself.
Well,
you've got a loop. I don't.
Yeah,
so
and set up automatic switches so I can turn it on and let it go, and I don't have to worry about it.
I think it depends how big the layout is. If you got a big layout, it's easy to run them. I have a little tiny N scale layout. I tried running 2 trains at once, and it was like impossible.
Well, I tried it when I had a DC layout, and it was a 12-foot long by 4-foot wide double figure 8, and I still had trouble running 2 at one time, just because I had the old slider switches, to do all the block detection. I didn't have toggle switches. I had the little slider switches. And that got confusing real quick if you were running more than 1 train. It was just hard to keep up with. For me, anyway, it was.
Yeah.
But that's the way everybody used to do it back in the day. Club layouts were all like that.
Right. Hey, Dennis, you do anything this week? We got 7 minutes.
I mean, I could show everybody where I'm at. I can do that.
Yeah, let's see.
Not to like change topic, but poor Dennis. We enjoy seeing what Dennis is doing. At least I do.
Oops.
Still, you still have video for Jerry coming out?
Who's that for, Jerry?
You still have video for Jerry's build?
Another one coming out maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
There's what Claude was talking about earlier.
Yep. Come in very handy for upper deck stuff. They're not, they're what, $200-300, something like that, but comes in very handy.
I think we're going to get one for under 200, but I think it's going to be a little flimsy.
Is it warm there, Dennis? You got your door open.
It's about 50 degrees right now, so it's actually pretty nice.
That's cool.
That would a little more than that right here, but it's not too bad.
Well, and that was
supposed to get cold
when I came out. It was 50 degrees. I really don't know what temperature it is now, but so the 2 pieces of spline, that are right above where I sit during the show. This is the lower level. This is where the higher level will be. Haven't messed with any of that. That will come after this gets put in place. But from here this way, and I apologize for moving as fast as I am, all that's pretty much set in stone. The only thing that might change is this track, because I'm not 100% sure how the industry is going to interface in there. I actually plan on emailing Michael McCarville today and see if I can't get pictures and the exact measurements of what I want to put in there, because that's going to be his kit that he's working on right now that goes in there. This is where the cattle pens will go, the stockyard. This is just going to be less than a carload. The station will be there, I'm pretty sure.
Dennis, now all this comes apart, right?
Yeah. I mean, so, my process is put it together, take it apart, put it together again, take it apart, put it together for the last time, and then put it on the bench. So, but from here this way, this is still kind of up in the air. I'm not 100%. I mean, the end of the yard down here, that's correct. It just might not be in that exact position. This piece of plywood is not what I'm going to use. It's what I had on hand to see the track distances, because what's important is that I've got the right length of track for the length of train everywhere. So yes, that's the triangle. So what I need to do is I need to get the right piece of plywood here, because this shape, that's wrong. This shape actually goes that way, because this is the very corner of the staging yard. And, I've got lots of decisions to make on this before I'm even close to ready. I'm guessing I'm 3 months away of getting this put into the room. That's just a wild guess, but
what's your plan? Like, do you have an idea when you're going to be done track work?
My plan all along since I began this was 5 years. I hope to be finished with all of the track work in the entire layout in a 5-year time span. I think I'm 2.5 years into this.
Jeez, man.
Not counting what I did with the time saver.
Man. So we got 2.5 more years?
Well, I mean, it's possible that I complete track work ahead of schedule. It's possible, because it really, once I get this put in, if I'm finished with this year, in 3 months from now, I've only got two more major locations, because the time saver is already complete. The next stop from here on this main line is the time saver.
And Jerry, that'll just give you a reason to stay alive, man.
Yeah, man. I'm thinking, like, geez, I hope I see the end of this.
Yeah.
Me too.
Now there may be another. I haven't decided down on that end, because this is going to be bulk oil, cattle, less than a carload. I also want grain. I'm thinking a grain elevator, because that's a commodity that I don't have yet.
You need
anywhere on the layout, and then another mine. I'm not sure what the mine is going to be, and there might be 1 or 2 other not sidings, but spurs between here and the time saver. I'm just not 100% sure yet.
Yeah, you need one of them.
And then on this side, of the layout is the last major yard I'll build, which is the biggest yard of the entire layout. That will be my, my rendition of Leadville, Colorado is the plan. I just not sure entirely how it's all going to work yet.
Well, it's looking good, Dennis.
Do what?
It's looking good.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And this is basically where it's supposed. I think it's going to slide this way a little bit, but where the far end of what you were looking at in there is going to be right there where the blue is, and then mostly everything from here to here is just going to be a long mainline run with maybe a passing siding. I haven't decided on that yet, but I might put a passing siding in there.
Very cool.
All right. Yep, looking good.
And I do have a church now.
There you go. We can have Christmas Eve services now.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I've got one.
Speaking of which, we got just a few seconds left. Everybody, we wish you all Merry Christmas and
Merry Christmas.
Yep. Merry Christmas.
I'm assuming we didn't talk about it. I'm assuming we'll be back next week.
Yeah, we were here.
Everybody wants to be here. So I'll be here. So look for us. We'll probably have a show. So
well, 2 people in chat this morning, so we had a good crew.
yeah, we had almost 40 here, I think, at one point. So Thanks for supporting us, guys. And Jerry and Bill and Dennis and Steve, you guys have a Merry Christmas.
You too.
And your families. And everybody be careful this weekend and enjoy the holidays. And we will see you next week.
Later, guys.
All right. Take care, all.
See ya.
Later.